Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome back to Tachy Talks. After a little teeny tiny break, we know you missed us a lot last week, but we're back and ready for action. This week we're going to be talking about studying in undergrad and in medical school. Before we jump into that, my name's Hailey, and I am here with my two pals. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Pal number one, Advait Tachy Advait. If it's reversed, but it's not reversed, Advait Tachy.
The names decide.
Advait Tachy.
I think you should be the new James Bond. I'm Kylie. And I'm tired.
This is, what we're recording this right now? Like 9 in the... No, it's like 10 in the morning.
It's 10 o'clock, there's no excuse.
There's no excuse, but we're still like not...
But I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and how like the first week of school is just so hard.
It's not even the first week, it's like the first 3 weeks of school.
Yeah.
Are just like, what even is happening?
Yeah, like it's just a transition, and I think this year was especially hard because you went from like, well, we're not really in class right now, like in the terms of like face to face, but like we went from like months of I was at home.
I was also at home.
Yeah, but like I was not in this place. But that being said, it's just hard. That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
So those are my two pals, and you're listening to Tachy Talks, the 11th episode. And now that they've all introduced ourselves, let's talk about what we did this week. First week of school, very, very exciting. So Advait, what did you get up to this weekend?
I am on top. Actually, I'm not even on top. What am I saying? Like, okay, first week of school, I thought I was going to be a changed man. I thought I was going to be like 1 week ahead of what we have to do.
Ask me how many times I've heard Advait say that.
Like,
but I'm like,
how many
I'm like 2 days behind now. But don't worry, we'll get it done. It's been super interesting. We did endocrinology first week, and you know what? I thought that was really interesting.
This week's repro, which I'm actually kind of excited about. It looked very interesting.
This week's repro, yeah. And like for some reason, I don't know why, but like every time I have to learn repro, something has happened. Like I would be sick or I would be busy for something else, like during undergrad or high school.
Are you afraid of women?
We can talk about that later.
That's not a topic for this podcast.
No, reproductive is for
I'm
men and females. So am I scared of both? I don't know.
Are you scared of men and women reproducing?
We'll talk about this later.
Okay.
This is a very interesting podcast.
We'll talk about this later.
Are you done with your week now? Can I talk about meat?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, biking update. How's biking?
Okay, how was the biking?
Okay, honestly, I'm supposed to be biking from Windsor to London with two of my Schulich classmates. And
it's not us, believe it or not.
It's not them.
I don't know.
It's not them. I wish they would join me, but I don't know why they won't.
I would join you if I had a bike.
She has a bike, $2,000 bike.
You guys
ride a bike? Oh, you do.
Ride mountain bikes, and I would look silly next to you on my little baby road.
No, you wouldn't even need to go next to them. You'd be so far ahead of them.
You'd be so far ahead.
You'd be
of
like,
woo! Honestly. But we are having a really hard time scheduling because they're both really busy with their lives. I'm not busy with my life, so I'm always free, but like they're not. We're figuring this out. I haven't gone biking last week, but I'm hoping this week I can do a quick 100K, and then maybe in 2 weeks we'll do the London trip. But we are trying to figure it out.
That's good exercise.
It's good exercise.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
That's really cool.
Kylie, what's up with your week? What's going on? What's happening?
Okay. Besides my pity party 5 minutes ago, no, this week was good. Well, I was at home, which was not here, for the first week of school, which was nice. I got back into the groove. But as Advait said, he's 2 days behind. I think on the second day of school, I already felt like I was a week behind.
Yeah.
They really didn't ease us into it this year. They were like...
They just started.
Boom. Which is, I guess, to be expected. I'm almost caught up, but I'm going to be behind again.
I'm going to catch up today.
Actually, I'm already behind.
No.
I'm gonna catch up
I
today
am
too.
going to catch up today, and I'm going to be ahead today. Trust me. I'm a changed man.
Sure. Actually, well, we have mandatory class all this afternoon. I have a small group this afternoon that you don't have, but that's fine. Unrelated. But it looks very interesting this afternoon. So I'm excited for that. But that being said, besides school stuff, and there's been like a lot of club stuff, a lot of research stuff is getting going again, because we took a little break, Hailey and I. But something fun that I did that Advait's gonna be so proud of me. I went biking this weekend. I biked 20 kilometers. It wasn't my bike though. Yeah.
That's some good stuff though. That's good.
It was fun. I mean, like I've been doing. My mom bought a Peloton, so I've been using her Peloton. which has been really nice. I mean, I miss it a lot when I'm not home. But the outdoor bike was really cool. So now I'm like, oh, maybe I want an outdoor bike. But
I thought you didn't have a bike.
We can go road biking together.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
I thought you didn't have a bike.
I don't have a bike. That was Nick's mom's bike. So I stole it for the entire weekend.
Was it a road bike?
Cottage. It was like a hybrid.
Okay, yeah.
So it was good. It was really, really fun.
It's probably the smartest kind to get, honestly. I feel like I'm scared of taking my road bike ever since the tube popped on the road. So.
Yeah. That's the thing I'm scared about buying a road bike too. And like I just am a mountain at the moment.
But you know, like it was so nice. Like I was like staring at the trees. I was outdoors. I'm like, I'm not learning about hormones right now. This is so great. So that was the highlight of my day. Not that like I like learning about hormones.
Yeah.
But
no. Endocrine's fun.
Endocrine actually has been very interesting. So that's my week, Hailey.
I've just been like treading water. I came out of a week and I coordinated a week, so it was a bit of a mess. I mean, I had these two on the team, as well as a lot of our other classmates.
The best.
We were definitely the best. Yeah,
very helpful. But I mean, like it was just a lot of prep, and then it happens, and then you kind of get that like crash after, where you're like, oh, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really done. I'm still like collecting fees and writing like reimbursement forms and all sorts of stuff, and then also school and research, and we have a research meeting today, and don't tell my research supervisor, but I'm not prepared for it. But we're gonna figure it out. And mostly other than that, I've just been sitting and waiting for Advait to invite me on a bike ride, which he hasn't done yet. So
you're the source of the problem.
Hold on, listen. This is the first time I'm hearing of this, okay? This is literally the first time I'm hearing of this.
It doesn't mean as much if I have to ask.
Let's go on a bike ride.
Okay.
Alright, let's go right now. No, we'll do that later.
That's all. Wrap it up. We're done. We gotta go exercise. Gotta close our rings.
Close our rings.
We gotta get you
But
watch.
yeah, I mean, like these guys said it.
Samsung.
We've kind of just been drowning, which is why you didn't hear from us last week, and we're sorry about that. But we had 1 billion modules to complete, and we had to go to class online and anatomy lab online, and I think I am surprisingly not behind in my modules right now.
Hey, good job.
There was no doubt in my mind that Hailey would be caught up.
Yeah, no,
if anyone's gonna be caught up, it was Hailey.
Yeah.
But it's like a weird, unhealthy obsession where I have to be, like, I write it down in my bullet journal, and then, like, it has to be done by that. Like, I will not go to bed if it's not done by that day. Like, it's not constructive studying. It's just me pushing through it because I feel obligated to. So, I mean, we can unpack that at another time. But maybe we'll have a really deep episode.
About studying?
About all of our fears, Advait.
Our fears.
Come on, I was trying to have like the best transition you could have got from that.
About studying? That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this week's episode on studying?
You want to do this week's episode on studying? What?
Do you think we could? Do you think we could do it?
I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you think we should do an episode on studying?
Hey, like and subscribe if you think that we should do an episode.
Smash the subscribe button.
Okay, anyways, yes, this week's episode is on studying and study habits, and we're going to jump into it, but first, I don't know how relevant a disclaimer is, but we don't want to get in trouble, so Kylie's going to hit us a little disclaimer first.
You know, everything we say... Okay, no, we'll start that again. We do not represent the views of our institution. Everything we say is our views and our opinions only. We're going to talk about studying today. This is what works for us, but if there is one thing I know about studying, what's going to work for Advait and Hailey is not going to work for me, vice versa. So take it with a grain of salt. If you think that you're similar to one of us and you want to try out one of our techniques, I mean, like, go for it. That's why we're recording this. But we don't, if you study like this and fail, it's not our fault.
And honestly, listen, if you are watching and you have a completely different studying technique, hit us up on Instagram.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Comment on
share
YouTube.
Yeah.
Maybe, like...
No, that would be fun. We could put on our Instagram story.
We will.
Talk to us.
We will.
So let us know if you have any techniques or any study
also,
habits.
they could help us. And so that would be nice also.
Could help us too.
Yeah, I'm always looking for new study techniques. Okay, can I just say one thing? This is like not related to studying.
No.
But like, obviously... Shut up.
I'll allow it.
Obviously, like right now is like a very high stress time for any pre-meds who are applying to medical school. Like applications are due in 3 weeks. And like I've just been talking to a few peeps. And one thing that I want to say, not really related to studying, kind of, But if you are getting comments on your essays and like you don't agree with them, that's chill. Like if I like told Hailey or told Advait something to change and you don't like those comments, you don't have to take someone's comments. That's just something I want to put out there for all your applications. I don't think we really talked about because at the end of the day, they're your essays. That's all. I'm done now.
No, that was good. That was actually really good.
Something I was thinking about and I wanted to share my wisdom.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I feel like there have been times that I've gotten comments that I've been like, no, I'm not making that change. That's why I always, whenever I'm editing people's essays or people are editing mine, I ask them to put them in as like comments and not directly change things so that you can look at it all. But I mean, like, don't get too defensive of your stuff. Like, you do need to be open to some things changing, but
there's a happy medium, you know. And that like kind of relates to studying because like if you don't like the methods, then you don't have to use them.
For sure.
Don't force yourself to do something that's not going to work for you.
Exactly.
But I was thinking that we would all just kind of like go through how we study, maybe compare it a little bit to undergraduate studying. And I just feel like the way that Advait's looking into my eyes right now, like he just really wants to start. So why don't you kick us off?
Do you notice he's been staring really intently? And like, am I saying something wrong here?
I
feel like we're being like interrogated right now.
It's also because you two are on one side and I'm on one side. So you don't think I'm feeling intimidated here?
Yeah, I guess that's like we're kind of power.
He is scared of women. So.
I never said that. That is not.
That's putting words in his mouth. For the record, Advait loves
For the record,
loves women.
Okay.
That was funny.
Sorry. All right.
How do you study, Advait?
I don't. No, I'm joking.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Cut that. I'll start off with undergrad a bit because med school is different than undergrad in the way that I study. But in undergrad, what I found most important was practice. And like I did biochemistry, so I took a lot of chemistry courses, organic chemistry, inorganic, physical, stuff like that. You don't really care.
Disgusting.
Absolutely
sounds like my worst nightmare.
Disgusting. What?
No, keep going.
But yeah, in undergrad the main thing was practice because like the content wasn't like a lot. It was a lot of material, but still it was manageable. I was able to pretty much memorize a lot of it. But where I got the knowledge or where I got better at actually solving problems was from practicing, doing practice problems. Even if the teacher didn't assign any practice problems, I'd still like just do some from the textbook. So that's what I found in undergrad. And like everything, I think studying should never be done in the last minute. Even if you're behind a bit, try to catch up on the weekend and try to do a little bit every day. That's the best thing. In med school, however, the amount of material you learn is too much. It's actually a lot. Yeah,
it's too much.
It's a lot. The amount of material you learn is a lot. So it's really hard just to learn everything just from practice problems because there's so many different scenarios of things that can happen. Obviously, practice problems are still important. So if you have small group sessions that are optional or physicians come in who can answer questions, I really recommend going to those because that's where you learn a lot of the content. But something I like doing in med school is using Anki cards. And if you want to learn more about Anki, you can hit up Hailey, yeah. But I was gonna say hit up the med school Anki subreddit on Reddit. Because there's a lot of pre-made cards there which you can use as well. And that's actually what I do. There's this a deck of cards called Anking, I think, and that has like 30,000 cards.
Is it American? Or
It's American.
Okay. I was just curious. I'm like thinking about this for my own learning.
No, it's American. But like medicine's universal, you know?
Yeah.
Other than like some of the drugs they prescribe in America is different than some of the drugs they prescribe in Canada.
Yeah.
But like the theory is universal. So whenever we learn something in class, suppose we just did endocrinology, I would open up that deck of cards and like untag all the endocrinology topics that I learned about in class. So now when I'm doing the cards, the things that I learned in class are going to pop up, and only things I learned in class. And actually, I think I should explain Anki a little bit, but if you're not sure what it is, it's like flashcards where there'll be a question and then you pretty much just have to say the answer. It's like quick, repetitive learning pretty much.
But the key about Anki is that it's spaced repetition.
Yeah.
So when you get a card and you answer it, it gives you the option to like rank how well you knew it. And so if you do it really, really well, it was like, I knew the answer, then it won't show it to you again for like a couple of hours or a couple of days, or there are different like patterns to it. And then if you kind of knew it, it will show it to you sooner. And then if you didn't know it at all, then it shows it to you even sooner. So the cards that you are not familiar with, you see more often. And that's been shown over and over again to be the best way to remember things is through this spaced repetition method. So the thing about Anki is you do kind of have to commit because you need to be doing the cards every day or every other day to keep up with that pattern. But if you can commit to that, then it's been shown to be one of the most effective methods of remembering things.
But that's the thing too, because it kind of forces you to study every day. If you have a problem with that, which I used to have a problem doing, like studying every day, Anki kind of forces you to do that because you have to complete your set cards for the day. It's kind of like a goal, and you reach the goal every day. But yeah, if you are interested in that, hit us up on Instagram. I can maybe give you some more information, or hit up like the Med School Anki subreddit. There's a lot of pre-made cards there. If you want any anatomy cards, you can download pre-made decks from there as well. Or you could do what Hailey does and make your own cards. So
I make my own cards because it's a big part of my study method, and also because I just find that I word my cards in a very specific way that I might not see in a pre-downloaded deck. So I think pre-downloaded decks are great, and that's what Advait likes, and that's totally cool if that's what you like. It's part of my study process to sit down and actually make all of the cards. Should I talk more about my studying? Are you done?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, so I do Anki along with summary sheets. So what I used to do in the past was I would make my summary sheet, and I might post some pictures of my summary sheets on the Instagram just for fun.
Oh yeah.
Because I know not everybody is watching on YouTube right now, but
oh my god, those are so pretty. They're always so pretty.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You can see them. I'll approach the camera. But if you can't see them, then Advait will just cut this part out.
Chill.
But so I make my summary sheets with all of the big concepts, or if there's a particular disease or like disease state that we're talking about. So like heart failure, I make a sheet for heart failure of like signs, symptoms, treatments, everything that you would need to know just in one sheet. And then I go over in Anki is where I put the more detailed stuff. So like mechanism of action of certain drugs, rather than on my summary sheet it would just be like what is it used for and what does it do kind of thing. This is like Anki would be like mechanism of action, or all my anatomy goes in Anki. And I've actually reversed it this year, so I've started doing my Anki decks first just so that I can have more time with them, more time with that spaced repetition, and then I do my summary sheets. And then another thing that I do is sheets of drugs. So I have a hard time remembering drug names. I think everybody kind of struggles with that. So it's good to have a sheet. And then one of my big tips would be whenever you're in class or wherever you are, if a doctor, a professor, a teacher, whoever mentions a drug and you don't know what it is off the top of your head, look it up right then. And if you do that every single, like we all know you have your phone with you, so just look it up. And if you do that every single time, then it's gonna start sticking in your head, and then eventually you'll hear those names and you'll be like, oh wait, yeah, I do know what that drug does. And I think that it's not like a sit down and study method, but I think that it is like a trick that everybody should, I don't know if it's really a trick, but just look up those drug names, or even like diseases or certain things that you're not familiar with, look it up right away and just keep doing that every time they mention it, and eventually it's going to stick in your brain. But that's my study method. In undergrad, I would say that my study method, I didn't use Anki in undergrad. It was mostly just those study sheets. And I mean, courses are a lot more specific, so it's easy to just have those study sheets in undergrad because you don't have to synthesize the information because you're only learning about one topic in each class. In med school, there's a lot of synthesizing information. So you're taking, like I said, with my summary sheets, I'm taking like the pathology, the pharmacology, the clinical signs and symptoms, like, and all of this information and pulling it together. And that may not have been delivered to us all in one lecture. It may have been delivered across a series of lectures. So I think one of the most important things about med school studying is you have to sit down with multiple lectures open and you need to synthesize that information yourself. Which is something that I found that I never really had to do in undergrad because I could just sit and like take it lecture by lecture. So it's definitely one of the biggest things, and it sounds overwhelming, and it is overwhelming, but remember that you don't need to know all of the details. Even if they do ask you a question, it's one question on like a 150 multiple choice question exam, and you just need to pass in medical school. So try not to stress too much
with
about
a
the
70.
details. Yeah, pass with the 70. But you're not aiming for like those 95s anymore. So like I used to get really upset if there was a multiple choice question that I would come across and I'd be like, I have no idea what the answer is. Like that would really rattle me. And now I'm just kind of like, guess I'm not going to answer this one right. And it's fine. So that is the big difference in studying to me, and that is how I study. And yeah, maybe I'll post some of those summary sheets just to give you an idea of what exactly I'm talking about. But Kylie, how do you study?
very different than both of you. Two things just to like what Hailey said. Exams, at least for us, I don't know about like all the other medical schools. I have one friend at Mac, but I haven't really talked to people at other places. We have like the chance to like write a note if we like don't agree with the question on our exam, which I think is really nice. So like if you see a question and you're like, I've never heard of this before, I'm pretty sure they never taught this, or like the answers just seem weird, like you have the option to write that note. And like obviously you should be respectful, like don't be mean in these comments.
Yeah.
That is professionalism. Do not do that 101. But yeah, I think that's really nice about med school, which is something that you don't really have the option to do in undergrad. I feel like if you challenged a question, they were like, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they actually go through and take out, like if a lot of the class doesn't perform well on a particular question, they look at it and they look at the lectures that they taught us and say, okay, did we actually teach this content or was this vague? Was it worded poorly? Should we take it out? And they'll take questions out of the final overall score.
Yeah. Which is nice. And then the other thing that I was thinking about while you guys were talking, and I've been talking to a lot of people, but like they ask like, what is med school like? And my favorite description is that we are the wall and they're throwing spaghetti at us and they're just hoping the spaghetti sticks. And I think about that all the time because like it's true. It's a lot of information. And like that kind of like goes into like how I studied. And like I know for a fact, like I am someone who has to do something like with my hands to remember it. Like I'm a doer. I'm not like a read it or like just look at it and I'll remember. Like I have to do it, which is why I really like doing observerships. I mean, and I were talking about this before.
No, it's legit though.
It's legit.
Like if you're in med school, doing observerships actually helps you like apply what you're learning and it sticks with you better.
Yeah, and I've been lucky that like I've come across like cool preceptors who will be like, okay, what are you learning in class? And like will help me find cases. I also really like Emerge, and Emerge is kind of like everything. So when you go in, like you can if you're learning about like resp, like cardio, you'll definitely find a resp or a cardio case every time you go to the Emerge. Like it's bread and butter. You may not get like the most serious presentation of those, but you will see chest pain, you'll see dyspnea, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, so I really like doing observerships. Of course, I can't do observerships right now because we are in a pandemic. So wear your mask. That being said, some stuff that I do like to do on my computer, similar to what Hailey does, she does summary sheets, but I only did this once for our final last year, but I liked it, so I'm going to keep doing it this year. I would try to fit as much information as possible on one sheet of paper. So kind of like making cheat sheets, you know, you can have a cheat sheet for an exam in undergrad.
And then do you bring it in for the exam?
Well, I could bring it in for our final because we were doing it online. I can't do it now because I think we're doing our exams in person.
So you don't cheat?
Well, no, I don't want to cheat. I don't want to get kicked out of med school.
Wow, that's pathetic.
I'm not a cheater.
Advait's a cheater.
Yeah, I know. I was like, this guy is really...
Oh my god, did you guys hear that Advait's a cheater?
No, okay, seriously though, I don't want to cheat though. Like, I'm too dumb to cheat. If you look at my grades, like...
Advait does not cheat. It would be very difficult to cheat in medical school.
Yeah. Also, Advait is smart. He's just selling himself short.
Yeah.
Yeah, like low-key, I'm probably like the smartest one, yeah.
I mean, actually, yeah, because you like manage your time well and you still have free time.
I am like...
You're shook. You wanted to say something.
Battled.
You wanted to say something. No, I'm not.
But yeah, so I use those sheets because our final last year, it was online and we were allowed to do it like in groups. Like that was told by admin, we were allowed to do that. So I was allowed to use my sheets then. That being said, like Advait was saying practice is so important. And like for us, our upper years had like made a question book for us. And I really like doing that. I really like doing questions to remember things. Anki is something I need to get better at. But as Hailey was saying, like, you can't just do Anki the night before, like, something, which is something I did in the past. And
you have to be consistent throughout the entire year. If you're going to do Anki, you have to start, well, you don't have to start day one, but you have to start well in advance before your exam or whatever you're trying to study for.
Yeah. And I also like to ask a lot of questions. Like, I feel like I don't like asking, like, See, this is the thing. I don't ask the people I'm supposed to ask. Like, I'll ask, like, my classmates. I usually won't ask on the discussion board, or, like, I'll ask other doctors I know. Yeah. But that's just because, like, I feel less bad annoying them.
Right.
Like, I feel like a lot of the doctors are like, I'm busy. I'm teaching you this endo block. And, like, most of the doctors have been really, really good at answering questions, especially in nephro neurology. They were great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And cardio. You know, everyone's been great.
Cardio was really good. Cardio was
really good. Yeah, that was nice. But yeah, I'm trying to think if I have any other tips for studying. I'm also someone that has to, like, write. So, like, I have my iPad, too. I'll, like, write things down and use that.
Yeah, that's why I can't just Anki, because I do have to, like, I have to write stuff down with my pencil on my iPad. My hand needs to be doing it. I feel like it's just that, like, it's so easy for my brain to shut off if I'm typing.
Yeah.
Because it comes a second nature, because we've all been typing for, like, our whole lives, right?
Yeah.
So by actually
just,
writing, and, like, I am a slow writer, so by actually writing, it forces me to focus on what I'm doing. But you know what I thought of this? Like, you know how people are, like, if you get up and the only thing you do today is make your bed, then that's an accomplishment. Like, you should get up and make your bed every morning.
Yeah.
But, like, substitute that with Anki. If the
Honestly,
only thing you
yeah.
do today is do your Anki
You
cards,
still feel
that.
good. You feel good,
you
yeah.
accomplished something. Just make sure you do your Anki cards. I don't care about your bed. Do
Let
your
me
Anki
talk
cards.
I
about-
made my bed. Please be
Let me say
proud of
something about
I make
Anki as
my
well,
bed every
okay?
morning, too.
I can't like not make my bed.
No,
Sorry.
it has
For
to be.
Anki, no, you're good. For Anki, here's another good thing. You can download it on your phone. So,
It costs money though.
on Android, it's free.
Okay, on your iPhone, last time I checked, it was $30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On
it
a-
is really expensive.
No, on Android, it's free. It's free for me.
Okay, well,
That's
for
nice
once
for you.
you win, okay?
Let me
You
look it
win.
up. Let me look it
No,
up.
I have it on my phone, trust.
Well,
but, like,
I want to look it up for iPhone.
Alright, true.
$35, which honestly I might purchase it this year. It's an educational investment.
It's an educational investment. But,
And
like,
you should invest in your education.
it's good because, like, when you're at the doctor's office or you're waiting or something, I don't know, like you're waiting in line at the grocery store, you just pull up Anki on your phone and you do like 5 quick cards, 10 quick cards.
This
and then,
reminds me of something I want to talk about.
and then throughout the entire day, like if it's really hard for you to just sit down and do like 2 hours of just work in one sitting, you can break it up like that with Anki if you have it on your phone. If you're taking a dump and you like bringing your phone, I probably shouldn't say anything more, but like you could do Anki on your phone.
It's
Why
like-
are you so obsessed with that?
You read.
What do
like,
you mean? Obsessed with
Everyone reads when they go to the washroom.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
So like,
true.
you might as well just replace it with Anki.
honestly.
That being said, you need to balance. Like, you need to have some like work life, school life balance here.
Absolutely.
So if you don't want to like poop and do your Anki, like
That's okay.
read
You
Reddit,
don't
play
have
Clash
to.
of Clans, do what you want. But something this just reminded me.
That
of
was very specific.
examples. But something this reminded me of was I wanted to talk about this. We're gonna talk about like med Twitter and FOMED later. But another like way you could do this, again, if you like want to fill up like all that spare time you have, podcast. I'm not saying you should listen to our podcast because we're not very educational.
No,
I
you
think
should
in
listen
some
to
ways.
our podcast.
No, you should.
Listen to our podcast first, and
Yeah.
then if you have more time, you can listen to other ones.
Yeah,
We'll allow it.
We'll allow it.
we're not out here like teaching cardio. I mean, I guess we could. I mean, I could teach. Very
I
specific
couldn't. I could
things.
not teach
I could teach
cardio.
I could teach like.
I could teach the rules about when somebody comes in for AFib. And you know how 72 hours, the
Yeah.
blood clot, that's the only thing I could teach you from cardio. I don't know why that sticks to my brain.
I mean, hey, if you
I mean,
didn't know
because we
that.
learned it this summer. Like on the side. No. What I want to say, I will give you examples when we do our FOMED/Med Twitter one. There's a lot of Emerge podcasts though. That I sometimes pop on.
I
when
just
I'm driving.
started listening to a Gen Surge podcast
Yeah.
when I go for walks down by the river, and it's very interesting. It's like, I mean, it's easier to study when you're engaged in a topic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then repetition also. So if you're hearing about it, something you learned on a podcast in like a different context, it might help it click a little bit better.
I'm pretty sure the one that I listen to is called EM Crit. I'm looking it up on Spotify right now.
We'll also post a list when we do our
Or, like,
Med
FOMED.
Twitter FOMED
Yeah, EM Crit is what I'm
episode, which is coming up soon. I think we're gonna have a guest on with us,
Possibly.
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 No promises.
No promises, but maybe.
But maybe.
The thing with those podcasts though that you have to remember is that like that's pretty advanced learning too. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. I don't know if it's the same for you, but like I
Yeah.
listen to it and I'm like I
What
don't
is
know this
happening?
yet. And you're not expected to know that level of detail, but like it's like spaghetti at the wall. Something will stick.
Something will stay.
I know some of it will stay in there.
You'll
and it'll
remember
help
one
you out.
thing at least. Yeah.
Yeah, and like if you go through this, like I'm looking right now, there's like hemodynamic lows, airway management of COVID-19, like all kinds of stuff. And like you can find something that relates to what you're learning in class, if that's something you're interested in. And I know for me, because like I am interested in Emerge and I find it interesting, I always like listen really good.
It's also nice to be reminded that the stuff that you're learning does have practical applications, and
Yeah,
that one
that is
one
nice.
day, you will be in the hospital actually using what you learned. It's always nice to be reminded because I feel like sometimes it's easy to forget that, especially right now. We're in pre-clerkship, we're in class all of the time. That sometimes I kind of forget that like I'm learning this for a reason to go do what I want to do.
And you know what? That actually makes it fun because in undergrad, a lot of times I'm doing, like, I liked chemistry when I did it, but when I was doing inorganic chemistry, I thought to myself, like, I'm never going to use this again, you know? Let me just, like, learn what I know is going to be tested just to get, like, that high mark.
Yeah.
But medicine right now, it's not really let me learn just to get a high mark. It's let me learn for the sake of knowing.
Yeah, like,
and
this is your job now.
Yeah, and, like, I actually like that a lot. Like, medicine is lifelong learning.
For sure.
You're going to be learning because it's always going to be adapting and changing, and new things are going to come out. And so if you're in this field, I guess one thing
Be prepared to learn.
Be prepared to learn.
We are lifelong students.
Lifelong students, yeah.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
I'm going to be a student forever. That's what it feels like.
Honestly, it's like we're kind of stuck here. Lifelong students, lifelong researchers.
This is, I think, was our 20th first day of school. I sent you 18th. I think it's 20th.
20 what? 20?
Our 20th first day of school.
That's wild.
Is that wild?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess you start kindergarten when you're like 3.
Four, yeah.
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 My nephew started kindergarten today.
Hey, that's
Shout out
cute.
to Sean.
Yeah.
Corey started grade 1 today.
cute.
You're so old. They're growing so fast. Anyways.
One more thing I wanted to add is because we were talking about additional resources like the podcasts, I thought I might as well throw in some stuff that I know other people use as well. I don't necessarily use them, but I know people do. But there are a lot of American resources that are available. Like you have the first aid book, which has pretty much all the physiology, I think.
That's
we
for
have
step
one
1, right?
We have one for Canada, Toronto Notes.
Oh, yeah,
Toronto Notes as well for Canada, yeah.
I
wanna
really
invest in that.
enjoy Toronto Notes. I got like an old copy of
Yeah.
PDF, and I think I'm gonna get this year's because I find them to be so helpful. It's basically just a big note, a big book, with notes summarizing everything that you'll learn in school. And some of it like is more detailed than we need sometimes, but it's like nice to have everything in one place just as a backup.
And
what
like
else is out there?
Toronto Notes 2020.
so Toronto
scroll
Notes, first aid, they have they have Pathoma, I think that's in the States.
Yeah, I've heard about Pathoma.
But like Pathoma book still gets delivered in Canada, I believe.
They love UWorld down there.
UWorld has more questions.
UWorld for MCAT.
I used UWorld for
Yeah,
MCAT
UWorld
too.
is more for like studying for your step 1 or step 2, I believe. But UWorld is available if you want to do practice questions. They have Boards and Beyond. They have Sketchy, Sketchy Micro, Sketchy Farm. I don't know if I'm missing anything else. I don't know. But like there are a lot of resources available. So if for some reason you don't understand a topic that was explained in class, or like we know physicians are really busy. So if you feel like a physician skipped something and you want to go over it in more detail, then yeah, you can hit up these extra resources that are available online, and they're just a great thing to have.
I mean, always get a free trial if you can, because I
Yeah.
remember for bugs and drugs, so like immunology stuff, somebody suggested to me to use Sketchy.
Sketchy, yeah.
Sketchy.
And I tried. I got the free trial, I think it was, or somebody sent me a video or something, and I hated it.
Really?
I did not learn a thing.
I love Sketchy.
I couldn't pay attention to it.
I use it.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like
some people love it, but like I just
love it.
couldn't
Yeah.
use it. And if I had spent my money on it, I would have been so mad.
It's expensive. Like
So,
to
like-
pay
Yeah.
for the full.
Make sure that
I have
if
it.
you can, you are doing free trials, or like ask around if anybody else has used it or has materials that you can see from it and that kind of stuff. And that is always a good thing to do. There's also like, have you ever seen Calgary's notes? They're like tables.
Calgary.
Calgary, yeah.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they're like big flow charts of like presentations and stuff. We'll link all of these resources. But basically,
I have heard of this.
Yeah.
I think I vaguely
I
remember
posted
this.
it on our class Facebook once.
I probably
so
looked at it.
probably
when
you
you
looked at it through there. But what we're saying is there's a million resources out there. There's a million different ways to study.
Medicine's universal, yeah.
Yeah, and you really just have to like shop around, kind of look around at what's going to work for you. And if you get into medical school and you start medical school and you feel like you're crashing and burning because your old study habits aren't working and there's so much content and you feel overwhelmed, that is so normal.
Yeah.
I think it's something that everybody experiences, that you cannot study the same way just because of the volume of content. So you just gotta like take it one test at a time and study a little bit differently for each one, and you will figure it out. You're not like doomed. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, you have a lot of time to learn.
I feel like there are a
Yeah.
lot of first years that I've been talking to at our school specifically who have been feeling like that for the past week. We just started, and they're like, how am I gonna do this? Like, I can't do this. And you can. We all did. We're all gonna make it through. You're here for a reason. You're meant to be here. It's gonna be okay.
Unless they made a huge mistake and you
Advait.
Okay, I'm joking.
Imposter syndrome is a real thing.
I'm joking.
I think with that being said, like, it's very important to, like, reach out to your support networks, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna put a plug for that in. Reach out to your friends in your class. They're all going through the exact same thing right now. I went through the same thing last year.
Study with someone.
Oh my god,
Study
I
with many people.
constantly study with people, and
Yeah.
Katie's like, I don't study with you anymore. Because I'm like, chatty chat. That being said, but like reach out to second years. What they always told us, the fourth years are such like a wealth of knowledge. So there's so many people you can reach out to. You can reach out to like your wellness person on campus, like Learner Equity and Wellness for Us. They can hook you up with the right resources.
Yeah.
You know what? Just message them and be like, I need help. And they'll be like, okay, here's everything I have for you.
Yeah, especially if you're in a Canadian school, like they
Yeah.
will help you as
So
much as
many
they
people
can.
want to help. Like,
Yeah.
there's something, I was talking about this with a fourth year the other day, is that there's something about many medical students where as soon as we're in, we just want to pass on the knowledge. Like, we're so into mentorship and like helping out, and like I had a first year message me and asked me about how I take notes, and I sent her all of my notes from last year.
All
like,
of your notes.
Yeah, like,
I don't
was
even
just
have
like,
all of your
why
notes.
not?
What the heck?
Like, I put them in a Google Drive and sent them off. I was like, what? Why would I gatekeep these notes? Like, they're not doing me any good sitting in my iPad.
Our class totally reformed like a whole note thing. They had like 2 like rounds of peer reviewing just to make notes for the first years.
Yeah.
So because we didn't have that, we started a new curriculum and we didn't have any old resources from upper years or any notes. So we were using notes from like the old curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
But this year they were like, nah, we're gonna change that. Though they were called Rosie's notes. But this year they were like, no, we're gonna like remake the notes. We're gonna like put it through 2 rounds of reviewing, which I think is so nice of them. Like they didn't have to do that over their summer. So much of our class volunteered. I didn't volunteer, but that's
I
kind
did.
of a million. Yeah, see, Haley's
Haley's
a good person. I just was
I
really
did not
overwhelmed and had to
volunteer,
manage my time.
I was just doing nothing. I had nothing to go
Straight
on.
up, I was having a good time.
I was having a good time.
And also, if you're pre-med, like, reach out to medical students. There's something about, like, we just love to help. And nobody's gonna think you're annoying. I mean, unless you get really annoying. So don't do that.
Just don't be mean.
If you're, like, being, like, polite and understanding of the fact that it might take me a week to get back to you because I am very busy, but I do want to help, then there are so many people who want to help you succeed. But I feel like that is all we have to talk about for study. Does anybody have any thoughts?
I was just gonna add one more thing. Like, if you can.
Thoughts.
Does anybody have any thoughts?
Sorry, keep going.
Do you
I interrupted
do
your
you
thought.
own the think?
What?
Do you own the think?
Uh-huh.
She's talking and like she's losing it. She's
What?
done. Continue with your thought, Advait.
No, I was gonna say one thing that also helps me remember stuff is acronyms and abbreviations and stuff like that. And like the more inappropriate it is, the easier it is to remember.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Haley, why are you shaking your head? You know it's true.
It's so
you
true.
100% know
Like
it's true.
maybe don't say them out loud.
Yeah,
But
no.
like, and maybe don't write them anywhere. But like, it's emotionally charged things always stick better. So if you like break up with your boyfriend while you're learning something, you probably don't remember it.
What?
Then you don't want to study it anymore.
What?
Emotionally charged memories stick more.
Thank you for
Don't
joining
break up
us
with your
this
boyfriend.
Thursday. We were talking about ways to study and some other stuff, just chatting. We hope that you had a great first week of school if you started last week. We hope you have a great first week of school if you're starting this week.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, wear a mask,
Wash your hands.
wash your hands.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Drink responsibly.
Never drink and drive.
Don't gamble. It's bad.
Just have healthy habits.
And we'll see you next time on Tachy Talks. This has been episode
Ciao.
11.
Episode 11.
And we've been a lot of fun hanging out with you.
We've been having...
I've been having lots of fun actually.
Hi. Bye.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
We will see you later.
See you next
See you next
time.
episode. Bye.